close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Welcome to the tutorial, guys. These are the body measurements that you're going to be needing to be able to make this skirt. Now, to make this skirt, I'm going to rule a line here, which is going to serve as my starting line. After I'm done ruling that line, I'll place my tape on the starting line. But first of all, I'm going to take away 1.5 inches, which is going to be for the waistband. So I'll place my 1.5 inches on the starting line. Then I'll measure to the hip length. Then I will take the full length of the skirt. I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots with my straight ruler. After ruling the lines, I'm going to label them. Here is the waistline, this other one is the hip line, and I have the full length of the skirt. Now I'm going to come to the waistline. I'll take the round waist measurement divided by 4. I'm not going to be sewing that to the skirt, okay? I'm not going to be adding that. So I'll just mark the round waist measurement divided by 4. Then here, I'll take the round hip measurement divided by 4. I will add extra 1 inch for ease, okay? Then I'll come to the hemline here. How wide your hemline is totally depends on what you want. So for my case, I'm going to be using 15 inches. But if you're a bigger person, you should use up to like 18 to 20 inches, depending on how wide you want it to be. So I'll just mark my 15 inches here. Then I'll go ahead and connect it with my ruler. So I'll connect from the waist to the hip using my curve ruler like this. Then I'm going to connect this other end. I'm making use of this ruler to give me the shape that I'm looking for. You can see. Then just connect it all the way to the end. After you are done connecting like this, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'll come to the hemline here. I'll be going up by 5 inches to create a curve. So I'm just going to mark 5 inches up like this. Then I'm going to use my curve rule to create a curve. So at this other end here, I'm also going to mark 5 inches just like this. Now I'm going to connect the two dots. I'll connect it in a curve way to give me the curve. Okay, can you see? So just connect it like this. Then after connecting, this is what you're going to have it looking like. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. So guys, this is it. This is what you're going to have after you are done cutting. So go ahead and label it the back. This is the back piece. You will notice that I did not add zipper allowance. Okay, I did not add zipper allowance because this skirt is not going to have a zipper. It's a wrap skirt, so there's no need for zipper. Now I'm going to go ahead to use it to cut on my fabric. Then after cutting, I'll be modifying the pattern paper to cut the front. Guys, you can see I'm adding all the sewing allowance to it while I'm cutting. I added half inch to the waistline. I added 1 inch to the side and also to the hem. So that was how I cut it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the pattern paper so I'll be able to modify it to cut the front. So this is how the back piece is going to look like when you open it up. So I'm just going to place it together and put it aside. Now I'll bring the pattern paper. It's time for me to modify it to cut the front piece. The first thing I will do is to take away this curve that I have at the hem area here. So I'm just going to measure what I have from the hip line to the end here. I'll take the exact same thing at this other side. Then I'm going to rule a straight line with my straight ruler. So this is how long the front piece is going to be. So this tail that the back piece have, the front is not going to have it because it's going to have another shape, you know, the wrap shape. Now after cutting it out, I'll cancel out the back that I wrote earlier. Then I will write the front. Okay, then after doing that, I'm going to use it to cut on my fabric. So I've already placed it on my fabric. I folded my fabric into two, just exactly what I did before. So just make sure your fabric is on fold. Then you place your pattern paper on it. You can see that I have a distance of about 7.5 inches from my pattern paper, which is my round waist measurement divided by 4 plus half inch. So this excess fabric is what I'm going to be using for the wrap. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead now to cut it out just like this. So you're going to add half inch to the waist, you add 1 inch to the side. We also add 1 inch to the hem for the hem allowance. Then after you're done cutting it out, this is what you're going to have. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create the curve on my pattern paper. So to do that, I'm just going to bring my curve ruler. Then first of all, I'm going to measure from the waist. I'll come down by about 10 to 13 inches. It depends on how curvy you want it to be. So you're just going to mark from 10 to 13 inches. If you're a bigger person, you may need to bring it down to up to 15 inches. Then at this end here, you're just going to use your free hand to create a curve to meet the point. Can you see what I'm doing? So just create a curve just like this. You can choose to use your curve ruler to draw the curve, but I just decided to use my free hand to sketch it just like this. And this is what I have. So I'm just going to, keep blending it to give me what I'm looking for. You can see. So I just took the curve up a little bit to be higher. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead to remove the paint that I use in holding my pattern paper and my fabric. Then I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to be cutting only the pattern paper. You can see I'm not cutting my fabric, only the pattern paper. That's what you're going to cut. Okay. After you're done cutting, now you're going to be placing the pattern paper at the edge of your fabric. Just watch what I'm going to do. So this straight area of your fabric here, the center front, you're going to place your pattern paper on it just like this. Can you see what I have now? So make sure it is staying straight. So just bring it down a little bit to be the length of the skirt. I'm just going to go ahead to trace out the curve just like this. And after you are done doing that, you're going to open up this other end. So guys, this is what you're going to have it looking like. So this is it for the cutting of the front piece. I'm also going to go ahead and place it aside. So now that I've successfully cut out both the front and the back pieces, the next thing I'm going to cut is the band. So I went ahead to do that off camera. So this is what I'm going to be using for the waistband. It's a very long piece, and it is about 4.5 inches wide. You can see I have it to be 4.5 inches wide, and it is very, very long. So I have it to be like about 90 inches long. So I currently have 60 inches there, and I have extra 30 inches added to it, so a total of 19 inches. That's how long this fabric is. And another thing I did was to iron stay to the fabric. So this is a black stay. We have two colors. We have the white one and the black one. So I ironed the black one to my fabric because my fabric is a dark fabric. So this is it, guys, for the cutting of the band. Now I'm going to go ahead to start sewing. But first of all, I'm just going to show you how the front piece is going to look like. So guys, when you open it up like this, then you're going to place it on top of each other. Can you see? So when you place it on top of each other like this is how you're going to have it looking like. So this is how the front piece is going to look like when we are done sewing. You can see. Now I'm going to go ahead to join the back and the front pieces together. I'm just going to open the back piece on the table like this. Then I'm going to place the front piece on it, making sure that the right sides are facing each other. Then I'll place the side here together. You can see I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it down. Then I'll place this other piece on it, place the two sides together just like this, then take it to your sewing machine and you're going to sew it down as well. This is what you're going to have after you are done joining the sides together. You can see what I have now. The next thing I'm going to do is to hem this area here. So I'm just going to take it back to my sewing machine. I'll just hem it round all the way to the other end. This is what I had after I was done hemming as I demonstrated. So this is it, guys. I hemmed it all the way to the other end. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to work on the waistband. To do that, the first thing I will do is to place the waist area here together. Now measure from one end all the way to the other end. After I was done measuring, I had 19.5 inches. I'll just make a notch at the middle here. Then I'm going to place my fabric aside. Now I'll bring the waistband. I'm going to also fold it together into two like this. Then at this end here, I'll take 19.5 inches, which was what I measured on the waistline of the fabric. Then I'll make a notch there. Now after making that notch, I'm going to come to the end here. I'll place it together just like this. I'll be sewing it. So I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine. I'm just going to sew it to meet the notch that I made. You can see. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll take it to the sewing machine. I'm just going to sew it like this to meet this notch that I made. Then from this other end, I'm not going to sew this other end. So from this other notch, I will continue to sew from the other notch. So the middle is going to be open, okay? So from this other notch, I'll continue to sew all the way to the other end here, just like this. So guys, this is what I had after I was done sewing as I demonstrated. You can see, so the two sides are sewn but the middle is open. So I'm just going to cut it from the notch like about half inch. So just make a cut on it to meet your sewing. You can see. Now go ahead and flip this area out with your scissors. So just flip it out to the right side. You do the same thing to the other side as well. And after you are done flipping it to the right side, go ahead and iron it out very well. Now that I'm done ironing it, guys, the next thing now is to attach the bands to the fabric. So first of all, I'm just going to fold it together like this. Then I'll make a notch at the middle. Now I'm going to place it on the table. I'll place the middle of my skirt together with the middle of the band. So the notch at the middle of my skirt together with the notch at the middle of my band, I'll be pinning it to only one side of the band. Can you see what I'm doing? So pin it to only one side of the band, just the way you see me doing. After pinning it down like this, you're going to take it to the sewing machine and you're going to sew it just like this. This is what I had after I was done sewing. You can see what I have now. You see? Now the next thing I'm going to do is to top stitch it. So this other side of my band, I'm going to be using it to top stitch it. So just fold it in like this. Use this other piece of the band to cover up the sewing that you made. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and pin it down. Now you're going to continue to do this all the way to the other end. So just fold it in and pin it all the way to the other end. Now that I'm done pinning it down like that, I'm going to use my hot iron to iron it down so that it will stay flat before I take it to the sewing machine to sew. This is what I had after I was done top stitching the waistband. So this is it for the making of this beautiful wrap skirt. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Let me know if this is a tutorial you are going to be trying out. If you find this tutorial helpful, do well to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit on the subscribe button and I'll be seeing you all in my next video.